Welcome, guys, to the Vida Creative Podcast, episode 2. Okay, guys, and in this episode, we're going to cover something that is actually really important these days. I get tons and tons of people asking me, hey, man, how did you get into video? Hey, man, I need help editing this stuff. What's the best video software? What kind of camera should I use? I get a lot of these questions, and especially in this day and age, we're right now 2019 moving forward. Everything is video content these days, guys. Whether it's for your own personal stuff, whether it's for your own personal brand, whether it's for your own business, even whether it's just if it's just as a hobby, video, guys, is really big right now. So let's just get right into it, guys. On this episode, we are going to cover some very key topics. Okay, number one is, what camera should you get? Okay, there's so many different options out there. I'm gonna help you guys narrow down exactly which camera is the best for you. Number two, we're gonna go over lenses. Okay, guys, once you start investing and buying into these DSLR cameras and up, even mirrorless, you're gonna need some lenses as you move forward. Okay, so I'm gonna help you guys kind of get some basic insight onto what are some good lenses to get started with. Number three, we're gonna get into camera accessories and different pieces of camera equipment that you might need. Okay, guys, so once you have the camera, it's not just the camera. We're gonna need batteries, SD cards, maybe a tripod. So I'm gonna get into that for you guys. And then finally, lastly, on this starter episode, I'm going to let you guys know about different editing software. Okay, so that's very important because there's all kinds of different software for beginners and for advanced people. So there you go, guys. 4K Carlos signing in right now, and let's get started. So what kind of camera should you get if you're just starting out into video production, videography? Okay, guys, and this is going to come down to your budget. Okay, because there's cameras out there for $100, $200, $300, all the way up to $100,000. So this is really going to come down to your budget. Okay, for me, the first camera I ever bought was just a point and shoot camera for, I think it was $300. So there wasn't any interchangeable lenses, but it was a very good starter camera because all you do is you turn it on, you can put automatic settings, zoom in, zoom out, point and shoot, literally. So you can get something like that for, $300 plus, $300, maybe $400. Okay. After that, the second upgrade I would get, if you have a little bit more money to play around with, $500, $600, $700, and you want to get something decent that'll last you a few years at least. One camera that I really enjoyed was the Sony a6000. Now, this camera is known as a prosumer camera, consumer professional camera. And the reason why is because it has interchangeable lenses. So it's not a fixed lens. You can actually take it out, buy new lenses, and kind of build it out. So this is and by the way, guys, I'm a Sony user, so most of my knowledge is with Sony cameras. But a lot of the really good, well-known DSLR brands out there, okay, if you're looking into these types of cameras, Canon, Sony, you got Panasonic, the GH series are really great cameras. Those are the main ones as far as DSLRs. So that's what I would recommend, guys. For a starter camera, kind of look into that if you can, into that $600, $700 range. You get yourself a good, solid, I would say a good, mirrorless camera. Those are really affordable these days. I like mirrorless because it's lighter, it's more compact, and a lot of the times they're really good for photos and videos. Okay, guys, so what kind of camera should you get? Boom, like I said, it'll come down to your budget. All right. Once you have your budget down, then you can kind of, B&H Photo is a really good website. Amazon, even just for kind of browsing prices. I would even walk into, a Best Buy and kind of look around at the different options, touch the camera, feel the camera, experiment with it. So that's kind of what I recommend. And then once you get more advanced, then you can start kind of getting into higher end DSLRs, such as, like a A7S II and Sony A7 III. I know Canon has a EOS mirrorless line of cameras that they're rolling out now. Like I mentioned earlier, the Panasonic, the GH5, the GH5S, those are good higher quality 4K cameras that you can get. But once you start getting into that territory, it's going to be, $2,500, $3,000 and up. Okay, so that's a different budget. And then the next step up from that is cine cameras. Now, I would recommend this strictly for professional work, okay? Cine cameras such as the Canon C100, the Canon C200, Sony FS7, and then next level up is digital cinema camera, such like a Red camera, and even Arri Alexa cameras. Beautiful. Those are some of the most beautiful cameras you can even get on the market. Okay, guys. So I hope that kind of helps narrow down different camera choices for a first-time starter. I would recommend stick within that $500 to $600 range. And then let's get into lenses now, because that's going to be the second big expense when you're looking at these cameras. Okay, so you want to find the right lens for you, for your productions, and for what you're going to be doing. Okay, you want to find the right lens. And for beginner, I think a kit lens is always the best way to go for a few reasons. Okay, guys. One, they're extremely cost effective, kit lens. So they're usually cheaper. Two, kit lens, they have different focal lengths. So instead of having to buy 3 or 4 different prime lenses, this kit lens, you can zoom in, zoom out. It's just one lens. Okay, and usually the different focal lengths you can get are 28 to 75 millimeter, you can get an 18 to 55 millimeter, and then you can get something like a 24 mil to 70 mil, right? And if you're not sure exactly what these millimeters and focal lengths are, drop a comment below, guys. Let me know, and I can get into more detail on future episodes about lenses and focal lengths and things like that. But yeah, kit lens is a great place to start. For me, my first kit lens was on my A6000. I believe it was a 18 mil to 55 millimeter, and that was a 3.5 f3.5 to f5.6. So again, guys, if you're not really sure what this terminology is, search it up, do some research. It's pretty straightforward once you get the hang of it. But f-stop, that's usually like depth of field and how fast the lens is and how good it'll perform in low light. Okay, guys. So kit lens. Right? Search that up. A lot of these cameras, you can even buy them as a bundle when it comes with a kit lens included, and that's actually what I would recommend, especially if you're just getting started. Get a bundle with the camera and a lens. Okay, guys? And then once you've kind of mastered the kit lens, once you've gotten the hang of that, once you're comfortable with the kit lens, then look into some prime lenses. I really love the 35 millimeter prime lens. Get it like a 1.8. It's a really fast lens, and it'll give you that nice blurred background. That's kind of what a lot of that's a really nice video photography look is when the background is blurred, and you'll achieve that by getting a fast lens with a low focal length, like a f1.4 or a 1.8. Even a 2.8, you can still get some pretty decent bokeh. So that's prime lenses, guys. And then these prime lenses, that's going to be for down the road, because once you're investing into these, they cost as much as the camera a lot of the times, you know, $500, $600, $700, $1,000 plus, depending on your camera. Okay, guys, so I hope you guys are following along. So get a nice affordable starter camera, get yourself a good kit lens, and then after that, once we have the camera, now what are we going to do with all this footage that we're shooting, right? What are we going to do with all this footage? We're going to have to edit the footage. Okay, so video editing, you know, a lot of people have a love-hate relationship with it, but it's one of those things where you just got to put in that time. Okay, the more practice you put into it, the more dedication and effort you put into your video editing, guys, you're going to become a lot faster, and it's going to be a lot easier for you moving down the road. And you know, video editing is such an important skill right now, because that's something it's in really high demand, right? Because anyone can pick up a camera, anyone can take a photo, anyone can shoot a video. Okay, it's not that hard to press the record button. But what it comes down to after is the video editing, and this is where a lot of skill comes into play. Okay, so if you can learn video editing, that could actually even be an extra source of income for you. You can work remotely, you can be in Cuba, you can be in Mexico, and edit videos for clients if that's something you want to do. If not, then you can just learn video editing for your own content, and it's going to be a really powerful skill down the road, guys. Okay, so just like the camera, there's going to be beginner editing software that you want to start using just to kind of get your feet wet, and then obviously there's going to be more advanced video editing software where you're going to have a lot more options. It's going to be a bit more complicated layout, but definitely down the road I would upgrade to something better. Okay, so what is a good beginner editing video software? Me personally, I started with iMovie. Okay, guys, I had a little MacBook Air at the time, and it comes built in with iMovie. If you're using Mac, guys, it comes built in with iMovie. It's free. Even if you're not using Mac, I'm sure you could still download it on Windows. Okay. However, if you're on Windows, I know Windows Movie Maker is a free editing software that comes included with Windows, so you could definitely check that out. Guys, I would say get comfortable with these beginner softwares, right? Don't spend any money on the Adobes yet, or the Final Cut Pros. Don't spend any money on that yet. Kind of learn your workflow. Learn about uploading footage, cutting clips, exporting, hotkeys, learn all these little things before you consider upgrading, or else it's going to be overwhelming because trust me, there's thousands and thousands of things you can do with these softwares, and especially when you're starting out, you want to keep it nice and simple, guys. I remember when I was doing my vlogs starting out, for like a 5-6 minute vlog, it would take me like 8 hours just to edit that one thing. 8 hours, guys. I would be sitting there, and you know what? I kind of enjoyed the process. I learned to enjoy the process. But as I got better, that 8 hours is cut down to 4 hours, and half the time now I can edit that same thing. And now I'm knocking out music videos every week. That's kind of what I do primarily now, is I'm doing tons of editing on music videos, and my workflow has gotten a lot better. Okay, guys? So as you upgrade, the next softwares I would look into are definitely Adobe Premiere Pro is kind of like an industry standard. A lot of people like using that. I know a lot of film schools and things like that. That's kind of what they'll present to you. One second. Adobe is great. After Effects is really great also if you're trying to get into more visual effects. Final Cut Pro X is what I use, and I've really enjoyed it, and it has a really great workflow, and it's for me it's been great to use. There's DaVinci Resolve, which I want to get into. And DaVinci Resolve is really known for having a great color grading workflow. A lot of professional colorists use DaVinci to get like a really unique look on your footage. That's if you're shooting flat, you know, like S-Log or, you know, Cine 4, Cine 3, or, you know, Red Raw. You know, that's kind of more advanced, obviously, but DaVinci Resolve, I've heard, you know, great things about it. Sony Vegas is another one. You know, I haven't personally used it, but you know, I know of people that have used it and it works for them, guys. So that's, you know, you have your beginner and then you have your advanced, and you kind of want to put in that time before you upgrade and move on up to the next step, okay? And then obviously, you know, in this day and age, there's also lots of editing software, mobile. So you can get it on your phone, you can get it on your tablet, you can get iMovie on your phone, guys. And I haven't personally used it, but I would imagine that it's probably a little bit easier. I'm sure Apple has simplified it so it's on your phone and you can just kind of use it by touch. So that's something to consider too. iMovie for your phone, if you're just doing simple, quick edits, that's what I would be using too. Okay, guys, so now we've covered finding the right camera, finding the right lens, narrowing down what kind of video editing software we want to be using, and then now camera accessories. Okay, and this is where it could get fun because there's so many camera accessories out there. There's so much out there, guys. But let's keep it basic. Let's keep it for more beginners. That's kind of the theme of this episode, is just starting out into videography. You're going to want to look into extra batteries, okay, guys? And most of the accessories that I get, guys, they're actually all on Amazon, and I can link different stuff that I use that I really like in the description of the podcast and the YouTube description. I can link all this stuff for you guys, so to make it really easy, you can just click and see what it is, okay? So yeah, accessories, batteries are really important. If you're planning on shooting for a whole day, you're probably going to need extra batteries. SD cards, right? What kind of SD cards do you want? 24 gigs, 32 gigs, 62, 64, 128. There's a lot of different options, and again, this is going to be all up to your budget, right, guys? Starting out, I wouldn't want to blow anything over $1,000 really on everything, because the important part, the beginning stages, is more about learning the craft and learning how to use the equipment. So that's what I would say. So you have cameras, you have batteries and SD cards, which I would say are essential as far as accessories. And then you have more optional accessories such as audio. Are you going to be recording audio? Are you going to be doing podcasts too, like this? You're going to need different audio and microphone. Are you going to be doing more still photography? You might want to look into a tripod, or are you going to be kind of doing YouTube stuff? You might need a tripod for that. Drone. I have a drone, and personally I love my drone. I got my DJI Mavic Pro when it first came out, and I still have it, and it works really well. But again, that's a more advanced piece of equipment. And guys, all this stuff is going to come down to what are you going to be actually using this equipment for? Okay, why? Before we even consider what camera should we get, what editing software should I use, what accessories do I need, before we even consider this stuff, guys, we got to kind of look into our why and our purpose behind all of this. Why do you want to get into video production? Why do you want to get into videography, right? And this is really what we should start with, is the why, because that's going to give us direction on how to move forward, right? So are you going to be using this for personal use, strictly for your own stuff? Do you want to start making YouTube videos? Do you want to start making videos for Instagram? social media, a website, whatever? Are you going to be doing personal use? Are you going to be doing professional work for clients? Do you want to get into kind of a video production career? Do you want to start shooting music videos? So that's kind of the two main things that you can kind of look at is, hey, personal use or client work, professional work. And then from there, that could really help you on what decisions you should make. And for me, I started just personal use, and it slowly evolved into professional work for myself. Okay, so I feel like that's a really great path for you if you're unsure or if you're still getting started. I would, get into it. Get into it not for the money, but because it's something you want to learn and something you want to do, and then put in that time to learn it and then see how much you really like it. Those are some of the important things, guys, is finding your why. What do you want to be shooting? What do you want to be filming, right? And then that could help us find some good editing software. And then, another thing we could even touch on is, so we got cameras, we got lenses, we got camera accessories, we got video editing software, and then it's, okay, what are we gonna edit on, right? If you have a PC at home, if you have a desktop computer at home, as long as it's not from the 90s, I'm sure you could probably download some video software on there, and I'm sure it'll work fine. I know a lot of people like using Macs and Apples and MacBook Pros and these kind of things, and for me that's what I've used, and that's kind of what works for me. You're gonna need something with like decent gigabytes of RAM, especially if you're editing bigger files. Like once you start getting into 4K footage, you're gonna need something with stronger processing power. Okay, guys, so that's the other thing to consider. If you don't have a computer yet, you're gonna have to look into, should I get a laptop? And I like laptops because that's how you can really work remotely. I've edited stuff when I've been traveling on the road. I've been out of the country, or even just anywhere you are. I like having the ability to pull out my laptop, get some work done, put it back away. And then for another thing that I would highly recommend is as far as memory storage. So you have memory cards, but I would also recommend getting an external SSD, okay, external storage drive. Anywhere from 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, 3 terabytes and up. I would start with the 1 terabyte because that'll last you a while. But you're gonna want an external hard drive, guys, especially as you start racking up a lot of video footage. The external hard drive is nice because now a lot of my projects are really big files. I can't import all the videos onto my computer anymore because it'll take up hundreds of gigabytes. So what I do is I just plug in my external storage, my external hard drive. I plug it in and I work off of the external hard drive, and that has really worked wonders for me because now I have 4 terabytes of storage, 4,000 gigabytes of storage in a little external SD card, external drive. And guys, I can work from anywhere, and I can have 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 projects on that one thing, on that one SD card. And so I really love that, guys. That's actually another really important thing that you should definitely add into your accessories. Okay, so let's just quickly recap everything, guys, just so you have everything mentally, right? So we're gonna have a nice mid-range camera. I would recommend $500-600 is a good sweet spot. You can get something decent for that. Find a good lens. Kit lens is always gonna be the best for beginners because you have multiple focal lengths, guys. I really like the 28 to 75. And I really like the 18 to 55. Those are all really good because you can get wide and then you can get close. Okay, so camera lenses, camera accessories, definitely, if you're starting out, get a few SD cards, get 2 or 3, get an extra battery, 1 or 2 extra batteries, and then the external hard drive as well, right? That's super important too, to store all your video files so that you can dump them off of your SD cards. So you're gonna want all of these things as you're getting started. Maybe a little camera bag to carry around your camera, possibly a tripod. A tripod is always actually a really good beginner piece of equipment if you're learning how to do panning and tilting. Tripods are nice, they give you a nice steady shot. And then the video editing software, guys. So if you're just getting into video editing, guys, there's tons and tons of tutorials on YouTube that can teach you how to do video editing, guys. That's how I learned, right? I've been learning a little bit of Adobe as well, After Effects, off YouTube. I completely learned everything on iMovie and Final Cut just by watching tutorials, guys. So watch tons of tutorials, guys. I've put in thousands of hours learning how to edit. It's gonna take a while. There's a learning curve, but learn how to enjoy the process, love the process, and eventually you'll get better with time, and you'll actually get more creative with the editing once you get better, right, guys? So those are kind of the pillars if you're getting, these are the practical things if you're getting started into videography. These are the practical things that you're going to need to look at from a wide view as you're getting started, okay? So I hope that was of value to you guys. Thank you so much. You've tuned in to episode 2 of the Vida Creative Podcast. Please, guys, give this a thumbs up. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a nice subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, because we're gonna be rolling this out on a regular basis. If you're listening to this through podcast, guys, I appreciate you so much for tuning in. Give us 5 stars, leave us a quick little review, guys. I want to keep providing value for you, so make sure you also drop a comment. Communicate with me on Instagram. We have the Vida Creatives Instagram at Vida Creatives, the S at the end, and then my Instagram is at 4K Carlos. Okay, so please hit me up, shoot me a message, shoot me a DM, leave a comment. Let's stay in touch, guys. Episode 3 is coming very soon, and I'm listening to everything you guys are telling me. So if you have any suggestions, believe me, I'm gonna see it, I'm gonna watch it, and I'll definitely consider it for the next episodes. Okay, guys? So until next time, this is the Vida Creative Podcast. Bless up. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and stay creative until the next time. Peace.